Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hits. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is a bye-week work week for Oregon football as the Ducks continue practicing heading into that bye week before a top 10 matchup is welcomed to Autzen Stadium next Saturday, a 12:30 kickoff on CBS, 10:30 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. I'm Joey Mack. Look forward to breaking down all things Oregon football today. We have a collection of updates for you here during the work week, bye week. Also, Matt Night Mayhem's coming up. We'll tell you about that. And speaking of basketball at Matthew Knight Arena, Kelly Graves, Oregon women's basketball head coach, will be with us today. Full disclosure, we actually talked to Kelly Graves on Friday. We were initially going to talk to Kelly Graves on Tuesday. Then he was in the studio on Friday. That means he gave us a preview of the Oregon-Penn State game. Scott and I initially said, well, maybe we'll just edit that part of the recorded interview out. Truth be told, depending on the outcome of the game, we may very well have adjusted the interview accordingly. But the good news is that we didn't have to adjust the interview at all. Kelly Graves' prediction for Oregon-Penn State, just know, as we get into that conversation, that he was a little bit of a prophet. It was kind of fun going back actually today and hearing what Coach talked about. Also, our bye-week viewing guide. What should Oregon fans be watching this weekend? In addition to Oregon soccer and Oregon volleyball in action here at home this week. It's also the start of the fall slate for Oregon women's tennis as they welcome teams to the Student Tennis Center for the Duck Invitational. Oregon men's and women's golf have also been in action. For Oregon women's golf, they were just up in Corvallis earlier this week. We might talk with Derek Radley here coming up. And Oregon beach volleyball heads to Seattle this weekend with a lot of those, for lack of a better phrase, year-round sports getting rolling this week. With classes starting around the University of Oregon, that tends to be the case, right? You get some of these other sports that are more year-round spooling up. Oregon soccer is also preparing to face USC in a matinee battle. It's on Big Plus and KWVA tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We'll hear a little bit from Oregon soccer later on today's show. The Ducks all the time talk about how iron sharpens iron in practice. You hear the cliche, if you can use that word, but the truth is that good teams get better when they practice well, and you tend to practice well when you play against good competition. I mean, this is kind of a cyclical strategy, right? And in some ways, it's self-defeating yet also self-fulfilling. Do you see the cliches that I'm getting at? Well, Tosh Lupoy, Duck defensive coordinator, he has been, throughout his entire career, here at Oregon at least, very insistent that Oregon's offense is a big reason why Oregon's defense has been so good. He put out a tweet yesterday that was just, as you can imagine, iron sharpens iron. So get this, for example, okay? Oregon's offense and defense, statistically, is top 15 nationally in the following categories. Here's offense: sacks allowed, total touchdowns, total points, scoring offense, passing touchdowns, explosive receptions, 20-plus yards, completion percentage, total yards per game, passer rating, and rushing offense. Top 15 nationally in those statistical categories for the Duck offense. And again, this is the Oregon defensive coordinator pointing this out to the world. On the defensive side of the ball, Here's where Oregon is top 15 nationally. Passer rating allowed. Passing yards per game. Passing touchdowns allowed. Explosive receptions. Completion percentage allowed. Scoring defense. Yards per game allowed. Turnover margin. Explosive runs, 10-plus yards. And total touchdowns allowed. So just think about all of those statistical categories for a second. And when the Ducks talk about iron sharpening iron, I realize it sounds like coach speak. I realize that it can be a cliche. Sometimes cliches can be great mantras. And that's exactly what it's been for Oregon football. Sitting here during the bye week where they can continue to practice against each other. Work on themselves, as Coach Lanning alluded to yesterday. That iron sharpens iron mentality sure has paid off for the now number 2 team in the country. That in all of those very valuable categories, the Ducks are top 15 nationally, both offensively and defensively. You know, it's one thing as like the broadcaster, right? I sit and I look at the statistics and you think about like, wow, Oregon's, pretty well-rounded. For example, Oregon and Indiana, you talk about top 15 rankings. Oregon and Indiana are a pair of teams, I should say. We'll see if the statistics hold true after this weekend. But right now, Oregon and Indiana, as a pair, are top 15 nationally in scoring offense and in scoring defense. Those are 2 balanced teams that are playing each other. And Oregon's statistical rankings back up everything that the Ducks are saying. It's one thing to say it. It's one thing to talk about stopping the run and preventing explosive plays. It's one thing to talk about creating explosive plays, scoring touchdowns, finishing drives. It's another thing to do it. And then again, as the broadcaster, to sit here and look at all these statistic rankings. That's one thing. It's another thing to then have the coaches really believe in that mentality. The Ducks do believe in it. So whenever you hear the coach speak and you feel like you're hearing the coaches say the same thing that maybe they've said before, that's consistency in messaging. And it led to some fun against Penn State. And I got to say, I have a lot of respect for all of the NFL players and beyond who can share in this fun. So huge respect goes to Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter because they had to wear duck gear this week after losing bets to one DeForest Buckner for Tyler Warren and Kayvon Thibodeau for Abdul Carter. And I just want to take a moment to say to Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter, you looked great in Oregon gear, and bravo to you for adhering to the bets that you lost to DeForest Buckner and Kayvon Thibodeau. And shout out to DeForest Buckner and Kayvon Thibodeau for making the bets in the first place. I don't think they would have looked as good in Penn State gear, and fortunately, we didn't have to find out. Meanwhile, you heard me mention this a little bit yesterday, that the landscape of college athletics is certainly changing, and there's more details now on GoDucks.com. The Shout for the Ducks campaign. The Ducks are hoping to lead in this category. The House versus NCAA settlement was approved in June of 2025. We have talked a lot about it, particularly on Athletic Director Tuesday here on Duck Insider, and it really does mark a new era of college athletics. There's more support for student athletes. By removing traditional scholarship caps and shifting to roster-based limits, the settlement opens up new avenues for growth and flexibility. Now, at the same time, student athletes will continue to benefit from third-party NIL agreements. NIL continues to be the hottest acronym, perhaps, in college athletics. It creates more pathways for support than ever before, and that support goes directly towards the student-athlete experience. It's a unique opportunity to secure resources, to elevate programs, and certainly fans, you're a huge part of it. The new era of college athletics, that support becomes more impactful than ever. The House settlement does allow for greater scholarship opportunities. The Ducks and every other athletic department can increase that scholarship allotment. Right now, Oregon Athletics will be able to provide additional athletic scholarship opportunities, projecting a minimum increase of about $2.5 million annually. These scholarships support student athletes academically and athletically while ensuring every program has the resources to compete at the highest level. Contributions from fans can extend financial assistance to resident and non-resident students, helping them focus on education and on their sport. And this is great news. With revenue sharing, as of July 1st, Oregon Athletics will fully fund and distribute $20.5 million to student athletes in additional scholarships and revenue sharing, which represents the cap for the 2025 to 2026 academic year. That's according to the details outlined in the settlement of House versus NCAA. This investment reflects a big adaptability from Oregon Athletics as college athletics on the larger scale continues to evolve, but it maintains a focus on the student-athlete experience. And I'm telling you right now, fans, that your support is vital. Yes, it's a bit of an arms race. Yes, there's a lot of money that goes toward all of this, but the fact is that Oregon has continued to succeed, dedicated to providing coaches, student-athletes, and all 20 programs with the resources needed to compete for conference and national championships. That college landscape changes, but that mission of broad-based excellence stays the same. 8 Big Ten conference championships last year. 8 programs earned a perfect score of 1,000 in the most recent reporting of the APR, the Academic Progress Rate. The Ducks had 11 academic All-Americans last year, 207 Big Ten academic all-conference honors, 207, and 3,796 student-athlete community service hours were given. Ducks were 18th in the Learfield Directors' Cup. That's the highest since 2016. If you're not familiar with the Directors' Cup, it takes into account your finish in the top 20 sports in your athletic program. You'll notice that Oregon has 20 programs. So for, say, a school that sponsors 28 sports, that means that the bottom 8 don't count toward the Directors' Cup. The Ducks are at a bit of a disadvantage because no matter what happens in your season, every sport counts. And the Ducks finished 18th. Your support, and this is what I'm saying, with money being so valuable in this landscape, your support helps academic support, tutoring, nutrition, medical care and treatment, mental health and wellness, and, of course, championships. And Bryce Betcher certainly has become a household name, and he wrote for this campaign. I'm going to read it to you. My name is Bryce Betcher, and I grew up in South Eugene playing baseball, football, and basketball. I had season tickets to football games as a kid, which grew my aspirations of one day becoming a student athlete at the University of Oregon. With this scholarship, I have been able to stay in college, earn a degree in social science with an emphasis in economics, win a Pac-12 baseball tournament championship, win a Big Ten football title, and receive awards like the Rawlings Gold Glove and the Burlsworth Trophy. In 2024, I was drafted by the Houston Astros. Most of all, I made friends that I will have for a lifetime. The Oregon family is incredibly connected, and I seriously don't know where I would be in life if I wasn't able to stay in college these past few years, all possible by the help of a scholarship and the donors who invest in them. I am extremely grateful for this university and everyone that has played a part in my life to help me live out my dreams. On behalf of all student athletes at Oregon, thank you for your support. Bryce Betcher saying it well, what it means to him. And there's a lot more questions, certainly, that have come up in college athletics the last few years. The House settlement, if you're not familiar, is a result of 3 major class action lawsuits that does revolutionize college athletics. The key elements are revenue sharing, elimination of scholarship limits, and back pay. That back pay is important because the NCAA is now asking to pay back former student athletes that did not receive this same support over the last decade or so, from 2016 to 2024. It has a lot to do with name, image, and likeness. How it impacts Oregon athletics is financially, but also it frees up more support that can be given to student athletes. So yes, on one hand, it's an increase, an expected annual increase of exactly $20.5 million. And certainly costs continue to rise as resources become more expensive to compete at the level that Oregon is competing at. But that's what this campaign is all about. So if you're asking, hey, I love my Ducks, I'd like to support, that's what the Duck Athletic Fund is all about. 541-346-5433. And, of course, just search for the Duck Athletic Fund, and you'll find them. More details on GoDucks.com. You'll see it on the front page. Shout for the Ducks, an anthem to champion our student-athletes and secure the future of Oregon athletics. And look, this is now just the broadcaster and in some ways the Oregon athletics fan, Joey Mack, here talking. This is very much a huge season of college athletics for a lot of reasons. Every season's valuable to compete for each student-athlete experience, there's no doubt. But the fact is that in this era where revenue to support resources is so important and there are more freedoms to support, it is a race. And the support means more now than maybe ever before because there are less limits on how much we can support various programs and resources and ultimately student athletes to compete for championships. It's the era that we're in. Going to be interesting to see what happens in college athletics in the next 10 years, huh? I graduated in 2014, and if you told me that we would be having this conversation on Duck Insider on October 2nd of 2025, I don't know what 21-year-old me would have said, admittedly. It has shifted quickly. But one thing that has remained true, at least for me in 2014 and now, it's nice to be at a place like the University of Oregon where you win 8 conference championships, you compete for national titles, and there's a great fan base that wants to see the Ducks succeed. Thanks, fans. Some sad news today, though, as we pivot to Don Monson. Remembering former Oregon men's basketball coach Don Monson today. His son, Dan Monson, posted that last night, holding mom's hand, Dad passed away peacefully after 92 years of serving the Lord. I've lost a great father, my idol, role model, mentor, and, as he would say, partner. Don Monson passed away last night at the age of 92. And if you get the chance to just head to @CoachDMonson, his son's Twitter, he posted some great photos of his dad and what he meant to the University of Oregon men's basketball program. I don't know that I can even state. There are so many lasting legacies from Don Monson around these buildings of the University of Oregon. And he'll be missed. A great Duck that all of us will miss. Don Monson passing away last night at the age of 92. Once a Duck, always a Duck. Coming back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been to myself.
This is cool as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Michael in the comments, if you're watching the show live via YouTube, Facebook, he said, I remember spending the night outside Mac Court, and Coach Monson would bring us pizzas for dinner. R.I.P. Coach. Michael, that's great. That's what you want to hear on a day like today. That was cool to read that. I can only imagine Coach Monson just out there with pizzas. That's awesome. So cool. Okay, Barbara asked, has anyone watched Chad Powers? All of our students right now in the room are laughing. Okay. Yes, I did watch the first 2 episodes of Chad Powers. I know it's not real. But, man, it sucked to see the Ducks lose like that. Right? You just never want to see it. If you haven't watched it, I won't spoil it. I guess I did a little bit there, but I think kind of the trailers have probably sold that already. I guess we'll just see where the show goes from here, huh? Yeah. Matt Night Mayhem is coming back to Matthew Knight Arena. Save the date, Monday, October 27th from 6:30 to 8:30 at Matthew Knight Arena. We'll have free ticket vouchers for fans for non-conference games if you come to Matt Night Mayhem. Details, by the way, are still being finalized. This is a little bit of a sneak peek here on the show. More details will be on GoDucks.com and in the various Duck Mail newsletters. There are going to be over 20 carnival-style game stations, pumpkin painting, mini golf, ring toss, bowling. There will be a prize wheel at the end of the night for all the participants. Candy, candy, candy everywhere. I got to give a shout-out to Mathis Brewington from the Oregon marketing team. I asked him, hey, what do you want me to talk about? Bullet points. And he said, candy, candy, candy everywhere. All the trick-or-treating can be done there, with each station having a men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, and acrobatics and tumbling athlete passing out some candy. So you get to trick-or-treat with the Oregon student athletes, which is pretty fun. We encourage everyone to wear their best costumes, show some of that Halloween spirit. Kelly Graves, for those who do not know, the Oregon women's basketball head coach, Kelly Graves is a massive Halloween fan. Once upon a time, he used to make a full haunted house at his own house, and it was elite. Now I think he's brought some of that energy to Matt Night Mayhem. Again, coming up on October 27th, Monday at Matthew Knight Arena, 6:30 to 8:30. Coach Graves showed up in costume last year. No word yet on what the costume's going to be this year. It's probably going to be pretty good. Matt Night Mayhem coming back. Speaking of women's basketball, preseason Big Ten honors came out today. No Ducks on the individual list, and the Ducks were not in the preseason top 5. And if I'm being totally honest with you, that's totally fine. Ducks brought everybody back. One of them's even back as a staff member now in Peyton Scott. So talking about Kelly Graves and Oregon women's basketball, next week Chris Clayton's going to join us on the show. He's back for his 3rd season behind the mic for Oregon women's basketball. He's also actually filling in for Dusty Hare on a couple things for Oregon football next week. So we'll have Chris on the show to give you a further preview of women's basketball. But in the meantime, we got to get a timeout to come back and hear from the always articulate and entertaining Kelly Graves. So back after this in the Country Financial Studio, we talk with the Oregon women's basketball head coach, Kelly Graves. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Talking about Oregon basketball season coming up for both the men and the women. I actually just saw Dana Altman in the hallway here at the Cavs yesterday, and I'm going to be going to a few men's basketball practices. A lot of new faces, but they're going to be an exciting bunch, I'll tell you what. You know the first thing, though, that Coach Altman said to me, because he said, "How you doing?" I said, "Well, you know, the broadcaster sounds good when the team's good, Coach." He kind of laughed. He said, "Yeah." And I said, "You know, the team's pretty good at Penn State." And he goes, "Well, boy, that Dante, whoo." Like, when I heard Coach Altman say that, I was like, game recognized game here, Coach. He was impressed with what he saw from Dante Moore. Here's hoping Oregon football is impressed by what they see from men's basketball and women's basketball coming up. Kelly Graves, we sat down with him and gave us a little bit of an update on how the offseason went, what's ahead for Oregon women's basketball. We chat with head coach Kelly Graves. Talking women's basketball with Kelly Graves.
Oh, am I supposed to clap too?
Look,
All right,
let's
go.
We like to bring the energy here in the Country Financial Studio. Okay, so how was the off season? How you been, Coach?
Been great. Yeah, been great. It was an awesome summer. I love the team. You know, we started. Don't know when this is going to air, so I'll just say on Thursday.
That's right.
The 25th, and which was yesterday as we're speaking now, and loved it. Man, great energy. I think I'm going to really enjoy this team.
Well, and how about the continuity of your team, Coach? I mean, that's certainly a factor here, isn't it?
No doubt. Yeah, I think there were 3 Power 4 schools that didn't lose anybody to the portal. We were one of them, so we had 9 returners, which in this day and age is a ton.
That's a lot.
And it's made the summer workouts and now the fall workouts just a lot better. You don't have to do quite as much teaching early on.
Right. You know, you talk about, like, every coach, you hear the phrase install comes up, right? It's a little easier, I guess, heading into this season to be installing, right?
Yeah, and I'm kind of changing my paradigm as a coach just a little bit. We're going to do a lot more. We're going to do instead of explain and walk through and introduce new things. We're just kind of doing and working and learning on the go, so to speak. And I kind of like it. And I think the kids nowadays, I think they learn better that way.
Huh. So this is a little bit of a shift for you then. What was the origin of it? Where did it come from? How come you tried to do it that way?
I just think, part of it is the number of returners. I think part of it is just kind of watching, others, talking to others. I'm a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. When I go on the road, I go to college practices. Mm-hmm. I sit in on what they're doing. Just last week, I was at Arizona State's practice. I was at the University of Colorado's practice when I'm in those towns recruiting. And I just I've just decided to freshen things up a little bit, and that's kind of one of the things that I'm hearing from lots of coaches is that they're, allowing their kids to make mistakes, but they're also allowing them to solve problems instead of us stopping all the time. Not that we did that a ton anyway, but and correcting. So I like it, actually. I enjoy it.
You touch on, like, being a lifelong learner. I mean, I've heard coaches say before, right, like, you all just try to steal things from each other, right? Like, that's the goal. But that's kind of part of the game, isn't it? You want to innovate and change out and try different things.
Yeah, it's funny. If you take from here and you take from there and then you incorporate that with your own talent and then you just keep working on it, it suddenly becomes your own stuff.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And we've been known as one of those innovative programs, right, because of our ability to score the basketball and things like that. And so, yeah, what I do is kind of unique to us, but I've stolen it along the way. And where I steal a lot of it is European basketball. I've been doing that for decades. Knowing that they've kind of been ahead of us in terms of basketball innovation. And, if you really want to see some good basketball, watch the Turkish men's league or the Spanish men's league or Greece or whatever, because they run really good stuff. That's more applicable to us than it might be to the NBA.
Just with the floor spacing, or what? Why is that?
Yeah, just everything, new ways to set certain screens. Everybody runs this zoom action, but then there's some twists that you might see over there that are easy to incorporate. And then we're going to do, I think, this year a lot less manufacturing of points, run sets, patterns, those kind of things. It's been good to us. But, yeah, we're going to change it and kind of open up the game. We're trying to play a lot faster. And so there you go.
You talk about, when players have experience, and I ask this knowing with the continuity of your roster, like that the game slows down for them, which then enables you, I'd guess, to play a little faster, right?
Well, it does. Yeah, it does. And, for years where I was a big believer in bringing freshmen in and then, working them through their 3 or 4 or 5 years, incoming freshmen struggled sometimes because our older kids, they got it. I'm not the kind that changes. I mean, we haven't really changed a lot of what we're doing. It's still the basics. And so, our upperclassmen can play a lot better, and sometimes it's tougher for freshmen.
Right.
And that's kind of the philosophy that we've gone with.
Well, and with that in mind, tell us a little bit about your roster. Some faces to know for fans and some that they already do know.
We're not going to be as big. Philly graduated, so we're not going to have that 6'8"
That's
staple
gonna be
in the middle.
strange to not see Philly out there.
It really will be. But I think what we've done is we're more mobile inside. Sarah Rambis can move. She can shoot the three. She really worked out. She had a great offseason, by the way, and looks really good. Ahisa Atute, same thing. She's our really one power player inside. But, Amina Muhammad, Philippa Tilliander, Sammy Wagner, those names that people know, solid players. Amina started for us last year, just a solid player. We need her to be a little bit more offensive. But the one newcomer inside is a young lady named Mia Jacobs, about 6'2", transfer from Fresno State. She's last couple of years, averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, shoots over 40% from the three. I really like her. I call her Larry Bird, because she can do a little bit of everything. So that's our inside players. They're interchangeable. They're mobile. We can do a lot with them, which is great. And then, on the perimeter, of course, we've got Katie Fiso, I think, has got a chance to be a real special player for us. Elisa Mevius, just got back from China. She was playing in the World Cup 3-on-3, and we know how good she is at that.
Yeah.
Ari Long, who can make a lot of things happen, is a good scorer, great cutter, good slasher. Sophia Bell, who, by the way, we're really proud of Sophia. She was named the Oregon sophomore student of the year last year. Not student athlete, student of the year. Graduated in 2 years, and she just started her MBA program.
Amazing.
Okay, yeah, but I have a bone to pick with her because she's doing orientation. We're having to practice at 5:00 because of her. Okay, but that ends here pretty soon. But so Ari Long. And then I'm trying to think who else on the guard line that's coming back. I'm missing one, but our newcomers, Estera Tuhina, an all-conference player at Washington State, a point guard. She's going to give us great depth there. Avery Kane, a 5-star recruit. She's a sophomore right now, transferred in from UCLA. She's going to just, give us some length and allow us to do some things. And I really apologize. There's one I missed, and I don't have my Cliff Notes in front of me.
I was looking at the roster as you were rattling through this, and I was like,
did I get most of them?
Coach,
And then our 2 freshmen.
Two freshmen.
I just didn't include our freshmen yet. Janiyah Williams, who I have been very, very impressed with from Oklahoma. She's going to be a good player for us. And then Sarah Barham has been out, has not practiced yet. She's working her way back, from an injury. And she's a dead-eye shooter. So I really like what I see so far. I think we're going to be deep, and we're going to be able to play fast.
This is why I love talking with Kelly Graves, because I have my list of bullet points, and then he just goes, check, 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 check,
Hey,
check, check.
This is going to be my 38th and 39th year
Let's
coaching,
go.
buddy. I mean,
Let's go.
At this point, if I don't have it down, then I'm in big trouble.
But, hey, lifelong learner, you can always learn the new tricks.
Yeah, good point.
See? Right?
And I have. We had a tough year a couple of years ago, and I think part of that was my inexperience with the NIL and kind of lack of want to do it this way. Well, we're here now, so this is the way we got to do it, and I've adjusted, and I think, the program is in much better shape.
I remember you and I talked about that, last year before even, that even talking with Coach Lanning was helpful for you, because it is a new era of college athletics, isn't it, Coach?
Well, it is, and, and I'm still not, a huge believer in kind of where the money is, right, relative to, the student athlete, where they – but I accept it. It is there.
Right.
We're certainly not one of the programs that that's hurting for money, and we're able to go out and recruit well, and we have recruited well.
Right.
I can't talk about specifics, but our recruiting has gone great. So I think we've got the program back in in the right trajectory and lane, and we're moving forward.
Great stuff with Kelly Graves. We're pressing pause, taking a timeout on our interview with Coach KG. Come back more with the Oregon women's basketball head coach as we get ready for women's basketball season. We're about a month away on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. October is a great, great month. There's playoff baseball on. Like, you love to see it. And it's like the heart of college football season. October is a great, great month. Steve said it best in the comments. Returning players are a credit to Coach Graves. I agree, man. Like, he deserves a lot of credit for certainly what's happened with Oregon women's basketball, but as you even heard him alluding to there, like, he has adapted how he goes about coaching. That takes a big person to talk about that, admit that publicly. I mean, I have so much respect for Coach Graves in just all walks of personal and professional life. On that note, we continue talking Oregon women's basketball with head coach Kelly Graves. I want to ask you a little bit more about your roster in a second, but first, it's just the changing landscape. It makes me think of the Big Ten. Like, did you learn much in kind of your off-season review just being in the Big Ten? How was year one in the Big Ten, now heading into year two?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Yeah, going in, I had a certain premonition of what it was going to be. It was different.
Really?
It was different. I thought I was going to see a bunch of big kids and strong Midwest, you know. And that's just not the case. You know, everybody played more of a spread offense, and we had to adjust to that. It was different for us because we were built differently. So we've, kind of changed the way we're doing things. That'll help. And people ask me, what it's like, what was the tough part, the travel. The travel was okay. Yeah. I mean, okay, so the trips now are 3 and 4 hours instead of 2 and 3 hours, right? But to me, the biggest difference is the 2 days in between games.
That's what Coach Altman said.
Yeah, in the Pac-12, it was play Friday night and then Sunday afternoon, and you're home by Sunday evening. And you could leave Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening, right, because the trips were shorter. With the 2 days in between, we split every road trip. So all 4 road trips we split, but we wouldn't win the first game and not the second. And so I think that extra couple of days in there have been difficult. Plus, like when we played Minnesota and Nebraska, you guys, it never got above 0 degrees.
Right, yeah,
and I'm not just joking. It was minus 19 when we flew home from Lincoln.
Yeah.
And so your kids can't go out. They can't do things. It's not like going to L.A. or Arizona or the Bay Area where, even in the winter you can go out in short sleeves and get some sun and things like. No, you're hunkered down into the hotel. So we're trying to find a different way
to activate the body, right?
Yeah, and things to do, and maybe we stay an extra night in the first location that we played, so that we fly in the day before to the next game. Like I said, we were pretty successful in the first game of the road trips. It was the second game we struggled. So I don't know. Everything's on the table.
I don't know if you've talked to Coach Altman about this subject, but that was something that he and I actually discussed on our trips, is that the 2 days in between was different, just figuring out how hard do you practice, those sorts of adjustments. I'd imagine that's a big part of it.
Yeah, but, as far as, I enjoyed going to I'd never been to, is it Chrysler Arena?
Yeah.
They're at Michigan, I'd never been to the Barn in Minnesota or Nebraska. And I'm trying to cross off, by the way, all the states. I think I've coached in 43 states as a head coach. And I had never gone to coach anywhere in Nebraska or in Minnesota. Minnesota only has the one.
The one.
and so I can cross those states off. This year I get to cross off New Jersey and Maryland.
Okay.
We're also playing at Auburn, so I can cross Alabama
so you're
off.
At 46 now.
I'm getting pretty close. It's that upper northeast, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire.
All right.
And then a little pocket, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware. I think that's it. That's all I'll have left.
Wow.
So, my 3-game trip to the Northeast and a 3-game trip to West Virginia, and Delaware might be in order in the next couple of years.
So now when the non-conference schedule comes out, come back to this conversation, right? And
I know you've got bright people out here listening, but maybe somebody can do the research. My guess is no head coach has ever coached in every state.
Yeah, boy, that would be tough. I mean, just – Greg Walker in the Sports Information
Greg
Office
Walker,
would be the one to
Greg,
track it down.
You're on it, buddy.
That's amazing, though, to really put that in perspective.
It just means I'm old, and it means that I'm not afraid to go play on the road.
Right.
And, obviously being in the Big Ten now helps.
Right.
But
you're crossing the map. You're crisscrossing everywhere.
I've been to every state. I can actually say I've stepped foot in all 50.
Do you count airports? Do airports count?
No, they don't.
I think that's like international waters, right? Like
yeah,
it
they
doesn't
don't.
Count as the state.
Yeah, they don't. I physically been in that many.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Now, I'm curious for the schedule, Coach. Tell fans, the schedule's now out, Big Ten, non-conference. What is the schedule? How did it shape up? What do you like about your schedule
Well, I think we've challenged ourselves. We have road games at Auburn. We have a road game at Washington State. We played the old Pac-12, and we're playing Oregon State at home. So we were, I think, the one program that didn't play them. That was 100% on them. We've saved all the texts and emails as evidence. But we are playing them early December, which I'm excited about. We're at a tournament in Dallas over Thanksgiving. So if anybody's in that area, we'd love to see them. And then we play December 21st against Stanford in the Chase Center as part of a doubleheader. I think that's a TV game as well.
That'll be cool.
That'll be pretty neat. Yeah, and then Cal's playing USC in the second game. And so we've got kind of a reunion of the old Pac-12, which is going to be kind of neat. And yeah, just Army's in here. We've got a really, I think, a manageable schedule, but we've got some really good teams as well. So we'll be challenged going into the Big Ten.
It's still early. What is the read though on the Big Ten? What do you think of the conference this year?
Oh, I think it's going to be strong. I think what did we put in 12 into the NCAA tournament last year?
Yeah,
we're going to get
that's a high percentage.
Yeah, we're going to get at least that, I think, this year. But you look at the 6 that didn't make it. I look at those programs, and they all got better. Minnesota didn't lose a single player, and they won the what was that the new NCAA created postseason tournament?
The WBIT.
There you go, that one. And and the other ones, we had a couple of coaching changes in those schools. I think everybody's going to be a little bit better, so we've got to be on our game.
Well, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your staff too as we continue with Kelly Graves. Your staff actually got to get a little bit bigger, which was pretty cool with some continuity.
Well, it stayed the same. We didn't lose it on the staff, but then they created a brand new position.
Yeah.
We hired one Peyton Scott, who was a fantastic player for us. I'll tell you what, though, you guys, funny story, and it goes back to this NIL we were talking about. When she saw her salary, and she's getting paid pretty well. That's a good job. It's a great entry-level job. She's now a full-time employee. She goes, Coach, I was making more in the NIL. And I go, guess what, kid? Welcome to the real world. But you're all going to be saying that very soon.
Yeah, it puts it in perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, but she is.
She's going to be great.
She is going to be a great coach, and this profession was made for her. I won't be surprised if she's a head coach, sometime in the very near future. She is a hard worker. Has got a good head for it. The team loves her, especially our guards, and so she has instant credibility with the group.
Well, and you talk about adding to the staff, but I mentioned the continuity of your roster. Just a quick point on the continuity of your staff. That's got to be a big deal.
It makes a huge difference, especially if you lose some coaches who are really part of our big, recruiting.
Right.
And they develop relationships, and when they leave and go to a new program, you kind of have to start over, or you might even lose that recruit. So, yeah, that's been important. I got a great staff. I tweeted out the other day, really blessed to be working with this amazing group, and I really feel that way. We all get along. It's a good group.
We've covered a lot of bases. Just tell us a little bit about what you want to get out of the preseason. What are some of your keys to success heading into the year?
Well, always good health, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it. I think we just want to get challenged, right? We want to see where we're at, where we need to improve. The good side of not losing anybody to the portal also has a downside. We have a lot of players who are stepping into new roles, bigger roles. Are they good enough to do that? Have they improved? I feel strongly that we have, but that's still an unknown. Katie Fiso, I think, is a terrific player. We want her running our point. But guess what? She hasn't done it a lot. Right. She showed well in the NCAA tournament, but this is new to her. And, and she's just a sophomore. We're asking her also to lead. Thank goodness we also have Elisa Mevius who can run some point.
Right.
But I think those two, plus an Avery Kane, plus a Stara Tuhina, plus an Ari Long, Sophia, they're really good in transition. So I think that's going to be one of our biggest strengths, I think, this year is how we play an offensive transition.
Kelly Graves, women's basketball season going to be here before you know it. What do we miss, Coach? Anything else you want fans to know?
No. Well, November 1st, we're going to have a dinner.
Let's go.
We're going to have a team dinner. Everybody gets a chance to go and meet the team. We're going to do some interviews and take pictures, to have a lot of fun. So make sure you look at our website, women's basketball, to get some information on that. But
November
I'm
1st.
excited. I'm really excited for the Penn State football game, you guys. I had worked it out. I had a home visit set with a young lady in Pittsburgh for tonight.
Okay.
And it was going to, be able to – I had my ticket for the game and the whole bit. She committed to a different school just a couple of days ago, so I couldn't justify making that trip all the way out and back. So, yeah. But good luck to everybody. The fall seems to be going really well for all our
Dusty
sports.
Hara just walked into the studio. If he ever needs a fill-in for his sideline role, I think we're calling you.
Let's go.
Yeah, sideline reporter Kelly Graves has a nice ring to it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I can't compete with the real talent, which is right here. So
thanks, Coach.
Wish
Appreciate
you guys
your
the
time.
best.
He could host the show any day. How about that Penn State preview from Coach Graves? So, again, we talked last week before the Penn State game, and we were like, we got to leave that in. That was fun to just hear him talk about so much around his program, and I think there's a lot of excitement building toward Oregon women's basketball. Chris Clayton and Bev Smith will be back on the call again. First exhibition is this month. Basketball will be played at Matthew Knight Arena this month. Oregon women's basketball and Oregon men's basketball on the horizon. Thanks again to Kelly Graves for taking the time. Coming up, your bye-week viewing guide and Oregon soccer preps for USC tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma.
Sometimes your internet goes out. And that is exactly what happened to us for the last minute and a half. So Matt's back in the OSN studio. Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Matt is back in the OSN studios. And I'm telling you, we went to commercial break. We heard the commercial break. And then it was gone. And Matt was like, wait, where'd you guys go? And meanwhile, on our end, I was like, wait, Matt, where'd you go? And now we're back. Thanks for bearing with us, everyone who's live and listening. And Matt, I'm so sorry that we probably raised your blood pressure by about 30 points just then. But we're here. We're okay. And from what I could tell, Matt, you're welcome to pop on your microphone if you want to. From what I could tell, Matt just played the fight song, which is like the best thing that we could do during an internet outage. Is just everyone gets to listen to the Oregon fight song. So I'm glad, though, Matt. Thank you. So thanks for bearing with us. We were going to hear a little bit from Tracy Joyner, by the way, back in the Country Financial studio. We won't get to it today after that internet outage. No, seriously, like we lost internet in the entire room, and I've never felt so disconnected in my entire life. We were going to hear from Tracy Joyner, Ella Asmussen. Those interviews are available on the GoDucks YouTube page. Because as you hear the music now, when it's supposed to play, that wraps it up for us today. Tomorrow, we've got your bye-week viewing guide for Oregon football, and I'm happy to report that we will make Big Ten picks, but just a quick teaser of what Big Ten picks will entail. It's going to be spooky season soon. We're going to kick off spooky season tomorrow. See you then.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids.